So the process for writing this album was me basically in 2018 deciding that I wanted to be re-inspired musically. I decided that I was going to move to Berlin, and I did that very quickly, and I spent an entire 2 years there basically being completely influenced by the Berlin culture and the nightlife there. And the nightlife is basically German culture. And I started writing an album as soon as I arrived in 2019. Conviction, my new album, was basically started in January 2019, and I wrote it throughout all of 2019. I think about 6 songs were written through the course of that year, and then in 2020 I wrote another 2 tracks at the beginning of 2020 in Berlin, and then COVID-19 happened. I was on my way home to do a Canadian tour, and the world started shutting down, and I didn't know what really was going to happen with it, but I knew that my shows were about to be canceled. And when I got to Canada, Miami Music Week was canceled, and then shortly thereafter the borders closed. Then my Canadian shows got canceled, and I thought the best thing to do would be to go to my family's house in Thunder Bay, Ontario. When I got there, we didn't know how long it was going to be, the entire COVID-19 thing. It was just basically waited out maybe for a few months, and then over time everybody started to realize that it wasn't ending anytime soon. So during that time, I set up shop in my old high school bedroom, and I shipped a whole bunch of my equipment from Toronto, and I decided to finish my album because I had to, or I had a deadline for it. And I wrote the last 4 or 5 tracks on the album on my mother's kitchen table at first, and then I moved into the bedroom where I made a proper makeshift studio, had my my proper studio speakers shipped up from Toronto, and I finished the album in late 2020. So for me, the experience of writing the album with these 2 extreme lifestyle changes were really interesting, because first I'm in Berlin and I'm living this, very interesting life, experiencing this brand new culture, a brand new country that I had never lived in before, and meeting so many incredible people, because the city itself is full of expats and people moving there just for the nightlife culture and electronic music culture. Berlin has some of the most unique, forward sounds coming out of that city. It's where the most authentic electronic music comes from in the world. It's where the first genres of music sometimes are invented, and so it was extremely inspiring being there. And then the latter, me being home in Canada and having to finish it, and basically being isolated in this city that I hadn't been in since I was young. So that was a very extreme change, but it was all consistent throughout the entire time with the music. Like, I didn't stop writing music. I wanted to finish the album, and I did, so I'm pretty proud of it. When I went over there, I decided that I wanted to be re-inspired, because I was basically playing, in North America regularly, and the sounds here were pretty consistent. Tech house was really popular. I have nothing against tech house, I still play it, but I knew that my sound was starting to change and getting a little bit deeper, and so I wanted to explore that even more, and I knew that the place to do that would be Berlin, because they have like a no-holds-barred kind of attitude towards electronic music. Like, you can really get weird if you want to, and like, no one's judging you. That's the norm there. So I really wanted to explore like where I wanted to go as an artist without trying to do the same thing that everybody else was doing, and kind of get my own unique sound going. And I definitely think that that's where this album comes from. It comes from being inspired from being in a culture where I don't have to worry about playing stuff that people are expecting me to play, or trying to play something that, say, a North American audience is going to expect from me. It's really inspired by just being true to myself and authentic.